Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're going to try to answer a question that I think a lot of people have probably wondered about.
Okay.
How can you tell the difference between someone who's a true trailblazer versus someone who's really good at getting attention?
Right.
Like how do
Yeah.
you tell if they're gifted or a grifter?
Hmm.
And there is no better case study for this than Kim Kardashian.
Oh, absolutely not.
You guys have sent us a ton of stuff.
Uh.
Articles, social media reactions, business analyses. It's like a
Yeah.
whole,
Yeah.
it's like you guys really want to get to the bottom of like, is she revolutionizing these industries?
Yeah.
Or is she just really, really good
Yeah.
at getting everyone's attention?
I think that's the question.
So let's get into it.
Yeah, let's do it.
I think we all know Kim from Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Of course.
But what's really fascinating is how she went from reality TV star to this massive business mogul.
Yeah.
So what were some of those early business ventures that kind of hinted at, like, oh, maybe this is someone who's got a knack for this?
Yeah. Well, so I think it's almost like foreshadowing because she starts with endorsements, just leveraging that reality TV fame to promote products,
Right.
clothing lines, perfume deals,
Right.
and even the prepaid debit card.
The Kardashian card.
The Kardashian card.
Whatever happened to that? I feel like that was like a big deal.
It was. And then it just like disappeared.
Yeah.
And looking back at the failure of the Kardashian card, I think it's actually really revealing.
Oh, really? How so?
Yeah, because it faced a ton of backlash because it had these super high fees and it was marketed towards a younger audience who maybe didn't fully understand like
Right.
the financial implications of this.
Dripping.
So it ultimately flopped.
Yeah.
And some critics even accused her of like exploiting her fan base for like quick cash.
So even in those early days, we're seeing that tension already of like, is she gifted? Is she a grifter?
Absolutely. And it's only going to continue that tension throughout her entire career. Like on the one hand, she's tapping into her fame and she's building this brand. But on the other hand, there's these questions about ethics.
Yeah.
And like who's benefiting from it.
I think that's a thread that we see with a lot of these figures that kind of walk this line between like genius and con artist.
Okay, so let's move on to, I think, where things get really interesting, which is the evolution of Kim Kardashian's business empire.
Yeah.
We're talking KKW Beauty, Skims, Good American.
Huge.
These are massive ventures.
Massive.
So what was the strategy in building this diverse portfolio?
So this is actually a pretty savvy approach from a business perspective.
Okay.
Because by diversifying your investments, you spread out the risk.
Uh-huh.
So if one venture fails, she's got others to fall back on.
That makes sense.
And she's strategically chosen industries where her celebrity and her personal brand can really shine.
So is that a sign of a calculated business mind or just someone with a good PR team?
Well, that's what we're here to unpack, isn't it?
Yeah.
So let's take, for example, KKW Beauty.
Which she launches in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And that was focused on makeup and fragrances.
Right.
It saw rapid growth leveraging, her massive social media following to build that hype,
Right.
connect directly with consumers.
Uh-huh.
And then in 2021,
Yeah.
we see another interesting move.
What's that?
She rebrands and she drops the West
Oh, yeah.
after her very public divorce with Kanye.
So is that a calculated PR move to like distance herself from that, or is it a shrewd business decision?
It's probably a little bit of both.
Or both.
Right. And that's where the lines get blurry.
Yeah.
It's hard to separate the personal life from the business ventures because they're so closely tied.
Right. And then there's Skims, launched in 2019.
Huge.
This is a billion-dollar company
I know, it's insane.
with collaborations with the Olympics and the NBA.
the Olympics.
This is like
It's major.
separable power moves.
Yeah.
So what were some of the key factors behind the success of Skims? Was it just her fame, or was there something more to it?
No, there's definitely more to it.
Okay.
So Skims positioned itself as an inclusive shapewear brand offering a much wider range of sizes and shades than like more traditional brands.
Okay.
And they also really heavily emphasize comfort and functionality, tapping into a market that was craving something different.
Yeah.
And of course, Kim's marketing genius is undeniable.
Okay.
Those campaigns
Yeah.
featuring diverse models, celebrities, athletes, they were everywhere.
You couldn't escape it.
You couldn't escape it.
So she knows how to create a buzz, but it's not all smooth sailing.
No.
I mean, no deep dive into Kim Kardashian would be complete without addressing, like,
Right.
the elephant in the room.
Controversies.
The controversy.
Yeah, and I think those controversies are actually crucial to understanding the full picture.
Right.
Especially as we weigh this, gifted versus grifter question.
Exactly. And we'll get into all of that when we come back right after this break.
Okay, so we're back, and we're talking about all things Kim K.
And we left off talking about those controversies.
Right.
And I think it is important to like really analyze those, not just as like gossip,
Absolutely.
but as potential clues into like how she operates.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's start with the cultural appropriation accusations.
Okay.
Like there was that whole kimono debacle
Oh, the kimono.
back in 2019
Yeah.
when she tried to trademark that name for her shapewear line.
Yeah. I mean, people were understandably outraged. Kimono holds such deep cultural significance in Japan.
Right.
And using it for like a shapewear brand
Right.
felt so tone deaf.
Yeah.
And even exploitative to some people.
Right.
It was a PR nightmare.
Uh-huh.
And she eventually backed down and renamed it to Skims, but the damage was already done.
Yeah, it definitely raised questions about her sensitivity to other cultures.
Yeah.
And then there was that more recent incident where she posed in a photo shoot wearing a rosary while, like, dressed pretty provocatively.
Yeah. That photo shoot for Dolce & Gabbana sparked another huge backlash.
Yeah.
People accused her of disrespecting religion
Right.
for the sake of shock value.
Right.
So again, it goes back to that question of like intention versus impact. Like regardless of what she intended, the impact was hurtful to a lot of people.
And it feeds into this larger conversation we were having about the downsides of building a brand
Totally.
that's so closely tied to your personal life.
Yes.
It's like your personal choices become brand liabilities.
Yeah, your personal life and your business become completely intertwined.
Yeah. And some might say all publicity is good publicity, but I think in those cases, it did some real damage.
Oh, for sure.
To a reputation.
Absolutely. Especially among certain demographics.
Okay, so we've got cultural appropriation, we've got religious insensitivity, and then, of course, there's those blackfishing accusations.
Right.
So can you break down what that means and why it's been such a recurring criticism?
Yeah, so blackfishing is essentially when someone who isn't black intentionally alters their appearance to appear black or racially ambiguous.
Right.
And Kim has been accused of this multiple times, especially in like photo shoots where her skin appears significantly darker or her features seem altered to resemble stereotypical black features.
So it's not just about personal style, it's like it touches on these issues of race and representation.
Exactly, and who benefits from certain aesthetics.
Right.
Right, and some of the criticism pointed out this potential hypocrisy.
Well,
like here she is promoting body positivity and inclusivity with Skims and Good American, but then at the same time she's potentially benefiting from appropriating a culture that often faces discrimination and marginalization.
Yeah, it makes it hard to separate like the business savvy from the ethical concerns.
For sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, and then there's the criticism surrounding her immense wealth.
Yeah.
And her extravagant lifestyle.
Right.
That get your feffin' ass up and work.
Oh, my God. For her Variety interview?
It really rubbed people the wrong way.
It did not land well. No, it came across as very privileged and out of touch.
Yeah.
Especially during a time when so many people were struggling financially.
Exactly. It was like tone deaf.
Totally tone deaf.
Yeah.
And it reinforced this perception of her as like someone who's just born into wealth and doesn't really understand the realities of those who haven't been as fortunate.
Right.
You know?
It's a classic example of like how one single comment.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when you have a massive platform,
yeah,
can completely derail your carefully crafted image.
Absolutely.
Like even the most brilliant branding
can't
erase like genuine missteps.
Exactly. And so we have these accusations of cultural appropriation, questionable business practices early on, and this public image that often clashes with the values that she claims to promote in her businesses.
Right.
So it makes you wonder, is this all part of like a carefully crafted persona? Or are these genuine contradictions in how she operates?
Right. And that question keeps popping up as we're going through this material.
Yeah.
And it leads us to another really fascinating aspect of Kim's business empire.
Okay.
Her venture into the world of
Roblox. Yes.
That online platform where kids and adults create and play games.
It seems like such a weird choice.
Like what?
For someone like Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
But it actually reveals a lot about her business acumen.
Okay.
And her willingness to like experiment.
I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Okay, so in 2017, she partners with Jazzwares, which is a toy company, to create a line of Kim Kardashian minifigure.
Minifigures.
For Roblox.
This is getting weirder.
I know.
What were these things like?
So they were actually pretty cool.
Okay.
They were twice the size of regular Roblox figures. They came with like virtual accessories.
Right.
They had interchangeable limbs.
Wow.
And here's the kicker.
Yeah.
They were based on user-generated content.
So it was like a collaboration with her fans.
Yeah, exactly.
That's actually really smart.
Right. Because it tapped into the creativity of the Roblox community. It generated buzz.
Right.
And it created a sense of ownership among her fans.
Right.
But then, of course, there was that incident.
Oh, yeah.
The leaked sex tape.
The leaked sex tape.
That allegedly appeared on Roblox.
Right.
Featuring a character that looked a lot like Kim.
So that kind of threw a wrench in the whole kid-friendly vibe.
Oh, yeah. Huge PR nightmare.
Right.
Because Roblox is a platform primarily aimed at children.
Right.
So a leaked sex tape, even an alleged one, is like
right.
a big no-no.
So what happened?
So her spokesperson denied any involvement.
Okay.
Roblox very quickly removed the video and banned the users involved. And they claim that the video was only viewable by a small number of people for a very short time, but the damage was done.
Right.
The story went viral.
Right.
And it raised these serious concerns about content moderation on a platform that's so popular with kids.
Like that whole thing is almost like a microcosm of her career.
Totally.
It's like savvy business move mixed with like a hefty dose of controversy.
Yeah. You never know what to expect with her.
So we've got Kim, the marketing whiz, who's not afraid to experiment, push boundaries. But then we've got Kim, the controversy magnet, who's constantly entangled in these ethical debates.
Absolutely.
And questionable choices.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
It really is.
It's like a paradox.
And it makes analyzing her motives and her impact so challenging.
Right.
Because we see these glimmers of brilliance, but then those glimmers are often overshadowed by these PR disasters and accusations of like insensitivity.
So after like exploring all of this, are we any closer to answering that question of gifted or grifter?
I think we're getting there.
Okay.
We've seen her build this massive empire, but we've also seen her make some pretty questionable decisions.
All right, so stay tuned, because in part 3, we'll try to piece together all this evidence and deliver our final verdict. Welcome back, Deep Divers. We are in the final stretch of our Kim Kardashian investigation.
Yes, we are.
Where we're trying to figure out, is she this, like, brilliant innovator changing the world, or is she like a master manipulator who's just really good at playing the game?
Right.
So we've gone through all this evidence from those early kind of questionable business ventures to, like, the billion-dollar empire she's built today.
Yeah.
And, of course, we can't forget about those controversies.
The controversies.
That just seem to follow her everywhere.
They always do.
So after all of this, where do we land?
Yeah.
Is there enough evidence to put Kim K in the gifted category?
Okay.
What are some of the arguments that support that?
So I think there's no denying her impact on the fashion industry.
Okay.
Skims, with its focus on inclusivity and comfort, has really like challenged traditional notions of shapewear. Okay. It's not just about like squeezing into something tight anymore.
Right.
It's about like feeling good in your own skin.
Right.
And that message has resonated with a huge audience, particularly like younger generations who are looking for brands that reflect their values.
Yeah, and Skims isn't just like some niche brand. It's a billion-dollar company.
I know.
Collaborating with like the Olympics, the NBA.
Like big players.
Yeah. That's
like success.
Yeah, that kind of success speaks for itself.
Yeah.
And it's not just limited to Skims.
Right.
Good American, her denim brand, also emphasizes inclusivity, offering a wide range of sizes and styles.
Okay.
She's really tapped into a real need in the market and positioned herself as this champion of body positivity.
Okay, so she's got the fashion game down pat.
Yeah.
But what about her influence on the beauty industry?
Okay.
KKW Beauty. While it's rebranded now, it was a massive success.
It was.
And there's rumors she's launching a skincare line. Right. I mean, she's a trendsetter. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Like her makeup looks, her hairstyles, her fashion choices, they influence millions of people around the world.
Right.
And she's turned that influence into a business empire.
Yeah.
And that takes a certain level of savvy and vision.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
She's managed to stay relevant for over a decade.
I know.
In a notoriously fickle industry.
It's true.
Like she is constantly evolving,
Yes,
adapting to new trends, finding ways to connect with her audience.
Yeah.
Whether it's through social media,
Yeah.
her reality shows, venturing into the world of
Roblox, exactly.
and that adaptability, that constant hustle.
Yeah.
That's something you see in a lot of successful entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
She's not afraid to experiment, to push boundaries, even if it means making mistakes along the way.
Right, right.
Okay, so we've got the gifted argument.
Okay.
Let's flip the script.
Okay.
What about the grifter side? What are like the red flags
Yeah.
that make people question her motives
Okay.
and her ethics?
Well, I think the cultural appropriation accusations are a big one.
Right.
The kimono debacle, the rosary photo shoot, like those incidents really suggest a lack of sensitivity and understanding when it comes to other cultures.
Right.
And it makes you wonder, is she truly committed to inclusivity or if it's just a marketing tactic?
Yeah. And those incidents coupled with the blackfishing accusations raise questions about like, is she genuinely celebrating diversity or is she exploiting it for profit?
Exactly.
And then there's that whole issue of her wealth and her privilege.
Yes.
The get your faffing ass up and work quote. The lavish lifestyle, the constant flaunting of material possessions. It just can feel really out of touch.
Totally.
Especially for those who are like struggling to make ends meet. It feeds into this perception that she's more interested in building her own brand than using her platform for good. Right. And some argue that her businesses, while undeniably successful, aren't particularly innovative.
Right.
They say she's just riding the wave of existing trends, slapping her name on products, and leveraging her fame to sell them.
That's a valid point.
Yeah.
There's a lot of debate about whether her products are genuinely unique.
Right.
Or just cleverly marketed versions of things that already exist.
So here we are at the end of our deep dive.
Yeah.
And it seems like we've reached a bit of a stalemate.
I think so.
Compelling arguments on both sides. Is she a visionary entrepreneur, breaking barriers, inspiring millions?
Yeah.
Or is she a master manipulator who's built an empire on hype and cultural appropriation?
Well, I think the truth is probably somewhere in the middle.
Right.
She's a complex figure who defies easy categorization. You know, she's a product of her time. She's a master of self-promotion.
Right.
She's a savvy businesswoman who knows how to capitalize on trends and connect with her audience.
Yeah, she's also like a lightning rod for controversy.
Absolutely.
Like a walking paradox.
Yeah.
Who embodies both the aspirations and the anxieties of our culture.
Absolutely.
So after all of this, where do you land?
Right. Where do you land?
On the gifted versus grifter spectrum.
Yeah, it's a question that will leave you to ponder.
Yeah.
But one thing is for sure.
What's that?
Kim Kardashian is a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
And she's not going anywhere anytime soon.